Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We are going to talk about XRP. I'm also going to show you the political ties to that outage and some coincidences as well. So there's no guarantee things won't break horribly with some future update. David posted this 11 hours ago and now the world is shutting down because of Windows. So did this post go out by coincidence? This is what David Schwartz said. I have a mini tower desktop that's a decade old with, and then he goes on to give you the specs, but it can't run Windows 11. What should I do with it? And hours later, that outage happened. So did that happen by coincidence? Because a lot of people are saying that David must have known something was coming. Breaking: major U.S. hospitals cancel surgeries amid global computer outage. This is how big this outage actually was. Appointments were also canceled. Staff in New York and Boston reported difficulties accessing medical records and managing critically ill patients. A staffer from a New York City hospital system said, "Every day we have a plan that's mapped out really carefully. That's all blown up." And you know, the news anchors on the mainstream media news are acting like this wasn't that big of a deal, that things are getting fixed very quickly. Other news anchors are saying it's going to take days for everything to get fixed. Just pulled through 3 Wells Fargo locations, ATMs. All 3 were out of cash. Everyone stay calm. The mainstream media doesn't want you to know that the banks are having issues with withdrawals and transactions. They fear that if people rush to withdraw their money, the lack of liquidity in the banks will be exposed. We already know there's problems at the banks. And it's a massive liquidity problem that's about to erupt. And when it does, they're going to need something to fix it. The outdated banking system is down, including IT systems. This is how the new banking system looks. XRP fixes this and was never down. XRP never went down. And this is a great time to point out that XRP works offline. 3 different video demonstrations of the XRP ledger usage without internet connections. An explanation of what gives XRP ledger offline capabilities via Bluetooth, via SMS, text messaging, via satellite. The deniers of this proof will just sit in silence. Guaranteed. I think the XRP ledger was built to work offline for a reason. You're not going to build a new financial system, and if the internet goes down, all of a sudden the whole entire system goes down with it. That doesn't make sense. Then there's this. Bill Gates, Microsoft has gone down across the world. This is why we have to fight digital ID and the cashless society. You know, they're pushing for everything to go digital, yet there's still issues with the digital system. Blockchain fixes those issues, but none of that is put in place yet. Sure, we have payment rails set up. Sure, we have CBDCs getting ready to go live in different countries all throughout the world, but we still need better infrastructure before we ever even think about going to a cashless society. And the hell with those digital IDs. You will never guess, voting machines and electronic poll books do in fact connect to the internet, just like we have been screaming about since 2020. Guess which server company hosted Dominion voting machines? CrowdStrike. Was today a possible test run for the presidential election day. So now a lot of people are saying that this outage was a test run for what's going to happen in November. Then there's this fact. Did you know Debbie Wasserman Schultz was in charge of the Democratic National Committee when they hired CrowdStrike to investigate the 2016 elections? a list of corrupt acts, hiring a foreign agent staffers and directing them to hack and spy on members of Congress, which we now know is more than likely CrowdStrike, threatening D.C. investigators to return evidence to her or face obstruction of justice charges so she could avoid being questioned by a committee which would inquire into illegal dealings, failure to disclose financial transactions, potentially violating the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act. She also has been accused of insider trading by purchasing telecommunications product company stocks without proper disclosure. Accusations of rigging the 2016 Democratic primary in favor of Hillary Clinton, which is definitely true. Criticism from her leadership of the Democratic National Committee, including accusations of bias against Bernie Sanders that she treated as a fall guy. Involvement in a cybersecurity breach at the DNC, which was blamed on and orchestrated by Russian hackers. Alleged misuse of the DNC for personal promotion and fundraising. She received criticism for her handling of the DNC's finances and operations, leading to a decline in the party's health and effectiveness. You know, this outage seemed to point fingers at so many different people. But you see how it's all tied back to CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike CEO worried about content updates shutting down the entire system. CrowdStrike servers are in Ukraine. CrowdStrike connected to DNC. CrowdStrike servers connected to who knows how many different things. 2023, Clinton Foundation opens humanitarian mission in Ukraine. Everything ties together. Even the money that we're sending to Ukraine, I said multiple times, it's because we're using Ukraine as a testing ground for digital IDs, cashless society, CBDC. Everything that the U.S. is testing out right now, they're testing in Ukraine. And it all goes back to CrowdStrike as well, which is also tied to the World Economic Forum. If they can't steal the election from Trump or take him out before November 5th, they will bring down the internet and possibly the power grid to maintain power. Today was a test. So many people are pointing at this right now. And that's why I wanted to cover it in a video. And this was absolutely shocking. Take a listen to what Zuckerberg says here.
I've done some stuff personally in the past. I'm not planning on doing that this time. And that includes, not endorsing either of the candidates. Now, look, there's obviously a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. The historic events over the last, over the weekend. And on a personal note, it's, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. But look, it's, and I think, look, it's, at some level as an American, it's like hard to not get kind of emotional about that spirit and that fight. And I think that's why a lot of people like the guy.
Honestly, I think Zuckerberg may even become a Trump supporter. And that makes sense because, we see Zuckerberg multiple times at UFC. Trump is also at a lot of UFC events. I'm sure they talk to each other a few times while they're both there. And him saying it was the most badass thing he's ever seen in his life, that's a sign of respect, in my opinion. Let's see if he has anything more to say from here. Breaking. Wow, this is huge. Biden reportedly agrees to step down and will not endorse Harris. Take a listen.
Carl, according to multiple Democratic sources, this is happening all of a sudden. Everyone said it would happen gradually and then all at once, and that's what's happening. According to my sources, President Biden has agreed to step down as the Democratic nominee.
Oh, man.
It will happen as early as this weekend. A speech has been drafted for him. He will continue on as president, is his intention. He also will not, I'm told, endorse Vice President Harris as his successor. They're hoping that he will endorse an open process in which the convention will be open to Vice President Harris and a few other candidates in Chicago to pick the Democratic nominee for president.
So it looks like he's stepping out of the election. And is this going to be bullish for crypto? I think it could be, because we know how anti-crypto this administration has been. And, you know, it would be great if Gary Gensler stepped down as well, because that would definitely pump everyone's bags. But the reason I wanted to do this video is I wanted to highlight how big that outage actually was. And I also wanted to highlight how it's tied right back to political events, both past and present. And I wanted to show you where it's going from here. And everything leads to XRP, fixing the current financial system, also being part of the new financial system. We see how easy it is to tie blockchain in to the current system. I think multiple times Ripple has said they could easily tie into a bank system within a week. Imagine if they were doing that all around the United States and the rest of the world, because they are going to need a fix going forward. Nobody's going to trust the banking system, and I think hospitals and airports, they're mostly going to look in a different direction as far as security going forward. But, you know, as we push towards the next election, we're going to see more and more talk about crypto on the mainstream media news, which is going to be great for crypto. Alt season is on the verge of happening. I think that's going to start with ETH ETFs, if not the Rippleverse SEC case coming to an end first. What I'm telling you is everything looks great for crypto going forward. There's no reason to stare at the charts on a daily basis, because staring at the charts is only going to lead you to frustration. Then you're going to start making dumb decisions, like trying to sell at one price point and buying back if it dips, things like that. I seen people complaining that they were going to buy back at a cheaper price, but XRP didn't drop down below 40 cents like everybody was calling for. The best thing you could do is nothing right now. Just sit back and wait for it all to happen. And like I always tell you, stay patient, stay positive, so we can get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.